Start. Hello.
Okay. Best of luck. Start.
Okay. Good afternoon, respected sirs and all my dear friends. My name is Nishant Kumar Yadav and my friend name Ashutosh Singh. We are here to give one presentation on alternative source of energy. Ashutosh, next slide. Next slide. On the alternative source of energy, we can able to know the definition and needs of the alternative source of energy and the research and that has been done by some few biggest company on the alternative source of energy and the types of alternative source and the advantage and disadvantage of the alternative source of energy. Next slide. First, we know about the what is the alternative source of energy. While knowing the alternative source of energy, first we can know about what is the meaning of alternative. Alternative means the available of another possibility or the choice. Alternative source of energy, in which alternative energy refers to energy source other than the fossil fuel, such as the coal, petroleum, diesel, and includes all renewable and nuclear energy source. Alternative energy is an energy source that is an alternative to fossil source. Or in general sense, we can say that alternative energy, as it is currently concave, is that which is produced or recovered without the undesirable consequence inherent in fossil fuels use, particularly high carbon dioxide emission, and important factor in the global warming. Ashutosh, next slide. Now it can be over to my friend Ashutosh.
So why do we need alternative energy? Alternative energy is best defined as the use of energy sources other than traditional fossil fuels, which are considered environmentally harmful and are in short supply. Fossil fuels consist of natural gas, coal, and oil. Currently, fossil fuels are the most used energy source to heat our homes as well as our cars. To use the fossil fuels energy, they must be burned, and burning of these fuels releases harmful gases into the atmosphere, causing pollution. Other problem associated with fossil fuels is their supply. One day, the non-renewable sources of energy will extend. So we need a backup. For that, we require alternative sources of energy. Now over to my friend Nishant.
In the alternative source of energy, there are the many types of alternative source of energy in which like solar energy, thermal energy, wind energy, hydroelectric energy, tidal energy, wave energy, geothermal energy, and biofuel energy. Next slide. On the alternative source of energy, we can see the research that has been done on alternative source of energy by the British Petroleum and Royal Dutch Shell, the two of the world largest oil companies, says that by 2050, one-third of the world energy will need to come from solar, wind, and other renewable resources. Climate change, population growth, and fossil fuel depletion means that renewable will need to play a bigger role in the future than they do today. Next slide. First, we can see about the solar power. The solar power is the conversion of energy from sunlight into electricity, either directly using the photovoltaics, indirectly using in concentrated solar power, or the combination. In this, what is the meaning of photovoltaic? Photovoltaic is nothing. Photovoltaic panel is nothing. It is a type of the collection of the photovoltaic cell, or we can say that it is a collection of the solar cell. It is an electronic device that converts the energy of light directly into the electricity by the photovoltaic effect, which is physical and chemical phenomenon. Like photons or the particles of light knock the electrons free from atom to generally flow of the electricity. The International Agency projected in 2014 that under its high renewable scenario by 2050, solar photovoltaics and concentrated solar power would contribute about 16 and 11% respectively of the worldwide electricity consumption, and the solar would be the world's largest source of electricity. While converting the solar energy into the Ashutosh, previous slide. Previous slide, Ashutosh. While converting the solar energy which we can using the photovoltaic panel. Do you know that the photovoltaic panel is only ability to convert around 16% of the sunlight that hits them into the electricity? So we need a new technology that we can able to convert more sunlight into the electricity. Now, next slide. Here we can see the solar power process. In details, you can see in image, but I can say something about the solar power process. Solar power is the harnessed using the solar photovoltaic technology that converts sunlight into electricity by using some semiconductor. When the sun hit the semiconductor within the PV cell, PV cell means the photovoltaic cell. Electrons are freed and busbars collect the running electron, which results in electric current. When we place solar panel connected in a calculated manner in the sunlight, they start producing current and voltage in the form of direct current. But in the most of the countries in the world, appliances and equipment run on alternative current. Alternative current. So we need to connect all solar panel to the inverter, in which we can able to convert the DC current into AC current for the home use. Now, next slide. Next slide. Here, here we can see about the five largest solar power plants in India, in which Badla Solar Park is the one of the world largest solar park in as of 2020, and it is spread over the total area of 5,700 hectares in Bhadla, Jodhpur district in Rajasthan. Next slide. Now over to my friend Ashutosh.
So wind energy. Wind energy is a form of solar energy. Wind energy or wind power describes the process by which wind is used to generate electricity. Wind is caused by the uneven heating of atmosphere by the sun, variations in the earth's surface, and rotation of the earth. Mountains, bodies of water, vegetations all influence wind flow pattern. Wind turbines convert the energy into wind to electricity by rotating propeller-like blades around a rotor. The rotor turns the drive shaft, which turns an electric generator. Three key factors affect the amount of energy a turbine can harness from the wind. Number one, wind speed. Number two, air density and swept area. Number three.
Here, here you can see the top five countries with the highest wind capacity till 2020. In among of the five countries, our India comes on the fourth number, which we can convert the wind energy about 38.63 gigawatt into the electricity. Now, next slide. Here you can see the hydroelectric energy. Hydroelectric energy is also called hydroelectric power or hydroelectricity. Is a form of energy that harnesses the power of water in motion, such as water flowing over a waterfall to generate electricity. People have used this force for millennia. Over 2000 years ago, people in the Greece used falling water to turn the wheel of their mill to ground wheat into flour. In 2015, the hydropower generated 16.6% of the world total electricity and 70% of all renewable electricity, and was expected to increase by about 3.1% each year for the next 25 years. Now, next slide. Tidal energy. Tidal energy is a form of hydropower that converts energy obtained from tides into useful form of power in such electricity. Tidal are created by the gravitational effect of the moon and the sun on the earth, causing cyclical movement in the system. Tidal range technology make use of vertical difference in height between the high tide and the low tide, and the tidal steam generator draw energy from water currents in a similar way to wind turbine drawing energy from air current. However, because of water is 832 times more dense than air, the potential from the power generation by an individual tidal turbine can be greater than that of similarly rated with wind energy turbine. Next slide. Wave energy. Wave energy or wave power is the transport and capture of energy by ocean surface waves. The energy captured is then used for all different kind of useful work, including electricity generation, water desalination, and pumping of water. The first patient of the wave energy happened in Paris in 1799. Monsieur Grad and his son proposed using the direct mechanical atom to drive a heavy machinery, including mills and sauce pump. Wave energy is also a type of renewable energy, and it is the largest estimated global resource form of ocean energy. Next slide. Here the geothermal energy. Geothermal energy is heat within the earth. The word geothermal comes from the Greek word geo, it means earth, and therm, it means heat. Geothermal energy is a renewable energy source because heat is continuously produced inside the earth. People use geothermal heat for bathing, to heat buildings, and generate electricity. Geothermal energy, that heat that comes from the subsurface of the earth, it is contained in the rocks and fluids beneath the earth crust and can be found as far down to the earth to the hot molten rocks and magma. To produce the power from the geothermal energy, wells are dug a mile deep into the underground reservoirs to assess the steam and hot water there, where can which can then be used to drive the turbines connected to electricity generator. There are three types of geopower plants: dry steam, flash, and binary. Geothermal energy is used in over 20 countries. The United States is the largest producer of geothermal energy in the world and hosts the largest geothermal field, known as the Geyser, in California. The field, over 117 square kilometers, are formed of 22 power plants having capacity of 1.5 gigawatt. Next slide.
Biofuel
Now,
energy. Thank you. Biofuel energy. Biofuel, any fuel that is derived from biomass, that is plant or algae material or animal waste. Since such feedstock material can be replenished readily, biofuel is considered to be a source of renewable energy. Unlike fossil fuels, such as petroleum, natural gases, biofuels also supply environmental benefits, but depending on how they are manufactured, can also have serious environmental drawbacks. As a renewable energy source, plant-based biofuels in principle make little net contribution to global warming and climate change. So biofuel cycle. Here we can see biofuel cycle. The production of biomass starts by growing plants out in a field or forest. All of the biomass are represented in those plants essentially comes through photosynthesis process. As the rest you can see in this diagram. Now over to my friend Nishant.
now we can see about the alternate advantage of the alternative source of energy. Several alternative energy resources produce zero pollution. We can still use land resource with alternative energy. It gives us opportunity to use bio-based fuels. Alternative energy works with our current infrastructure alignment. We don't face the same threat of resource extinct with the alternative energy. Next slide. Now here's some disadvantage of alternative source of energy. Some form of alternative energy still produce pollutants. Many form of alternative energy are not continuous. Alternative energy resource can adversely impact nature. Cost is an important factor to consider with alternative energy. The logistic of alternative energy installation can be challenging to meet. Next slide. Now here you can see that we can take a help from the several website and the books from using the making the alternative source of energy presentation. Next slide. Did you know that our India ranks third in the renewable energy production? And thank you.